My amplified unit, salute, top of the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Red team, go! Let's crush out this bonus amplification on this Friday afternoon, just hours before SmackDown 11/18/22. Some stories that BC wants to talk to you guys about. Thunder Rosa wants to extend an olive branch now to the roster, the AEW women's roster. And this comes hours after Tony Khan went public with his statement saying maybe it is time to strip Rosa of the championship. And of course, this is all being discussed once again because Toni Storm started the conversation again. Once again, voicing out her frustrations publicly, and I do not blame her, stating that she doesn't know how or why Rosa still has the title and hasn't come back to work, and questioning why Tony Khan would actually let her walk away with the title without a time frame of return, right? Most injuries have a timetable. A back injury, you could be out till 2024, and it doesn't seem like Rosa's coming back anytime soon. Or then again, it's Thunder Rosa. She could come out of nowhere next week for all we know. But Toni Storm started that conversation once again because she's still frustrated. And this forced Tony Khan to make the statements he made yesterday. And then that forced Rosa to make the statements that she made early this morning. And what we have now is a ripple effect that could have been avoided. A vicious circle that needs to stop spinning round and round. Thankfully, you've come to the right place for the solution. BC will tell Tony Khan himself exactly what needs to happen starting yesterday. But we'll stay with tonight as a consolation prize. Tonight, Tony Khan needs to do this one action. And the longer he waits, it's just going to be more problems for everybody, including him and his organization. We'll go over that in a little bit more great length and detail coming up. We're also going to talk Baron Corbin going against a fellow WWE superstar who was taking heat, mega heat once again by pro wrestling fans. Something that Baron Corbin is he's no stranger to taking that type of heat from the pro wrestling world. But it's Baron Corbin who's siding with the fans. And he's going against his own fellow WWE superstar. We'll talk all about that coming up. And I guess what we'll start off with is a little bit of an injury report, if you will. And where am I? Actually, where I want to start off is, as you can see, I'm still sporting the green and yellow after the ass whooping we took last night on Thursday Night Football. The Tennessee Titans beat the shit out of the Packers, and basically, for all intents and purposes, they beat the shit out of the Packers straight out of the playoffs. Let's be honest. I don't care if we're mathematically still in it. We are the worst team in the league, and I don't give a shit if there are teams with a worse record. If you watch the Green Bay Packers every game this year, we are the worst team in football. I'm pretty sure you could go to your local high school, pick their fucking football team, and they could whoop our asses right now. You got prima donna Rodgers. You got a coach that looks absolutely lost. A special teams that's non-existent, a defense that doesn't know when and where it wants to show up, and an offense that is in an island of irrelevancy, and for justified reasons. But I'm not a fair weather fan. I love my Green Bay Packers. I will continue to voice out my displeasure every single Sunday or Thursday night or Monday night whenever we are playing, and when we get better again, I will celebrate in their victories and successes. That's what a true fan does. Call out the bullshit, party in success. It's what we do in pro wrestling, right? When people say we're too negative, we're always just saying all the bad shit, and we don't spend any time on the positive shit. Oh, we do. The problem is there's not enough positive, right? Numbers will tell you that. Metrics, ratings, merchandise sales. I mean, it doesn't matter what metric you're going by. Pro wrestling's in the fucking shitter, and that's why if you're a real fan of pro wrestling, you should be more like BC, I would think, in voicing that out so it gets better instead of just saying everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the crew. No, man, you gotta fucking stand up and voice your displeasure as a fan. Because when it's going really good, that's the time to be joyous and celebrate. I will not take off the green and yellow. I will continue to support. And by supporting, that means being honest with the organization. It is our responsibility as fans to do that. I do it in Major League Baseball with my Yankees. I do it in the National Basketball Association with my Knicks. And I do it in the National Football League with my Packers. And I sure as hell, I damn sure do it with my pro wrestling. So anybody that says BC is too negative, yeah, maybe I am. And it's justified. See, BC says, I'm not negative enough. I'm not enough of an asshole. I'm being too generous in my reviews. That's a scary thought, isn't it? I'm giving you 60% maybe. Because I do have respect for the men and women who go out there and bust their asses in those rings and they have no control over the bad booking unless you take that control and then you get vilified for it later, like Sasha Banks and Naomi. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about my Green Bay Packers, because I know there's going to be people saying, sorry about your Packers, BC. No, not as sorry as we are as Packers fans. Injury report. Let's start off with Kevin Owens. The latest we're hearing, just as I told you guys yesterday, Kevin Owens did get injured at the house shows last weekend while beating Austin Theory. Theory's losing streak continues. Austin Theory is currently 6 wins out of his last 50. He has lost 44 out of his last 50. We're hoping that last week reignited something and that will be consistently good for Theory going forward. However, for Kevin Owens, not such good news. He got injured. He was supposed to be in War Games, we're hearing, and now that is in question. The good news is he looks to be traveling with the WWE this week. I don't know if that means he's going to be inserted into a War Game storyline and or match, and I don't know how smart that is if he just got injured and you're going to throw him into not just any match, but War Games. I'm pretty sure I speak for most when I say as much as we respect Kevin Owens, nobody needs to see the dude go out there and blow out a leg for a War Games match that's going to have 9 other individuals. Now, you can say because there's 9 other individuals, he can kind of hide out during the match, not take some of the high spots. Owens is not just going to hide out and not take all the high spots. Owens is going to go in there and do what Owens does, what competitors do, what wrestlers do, and they want to steal the show. They want everybody to go ooh-ah to their moves. Owens is not just going to sit in the corner and take lollipop shots while everybody else gets the accolades. And number two, you know damn well, even if there's 19 other people in that ring, during War Games, everybody gets their piece of physicality to another degree. There's no way that Owens could escape it. So if he is put in this match, I really do hope that all is 100%, not 80, not 85, not 90% with that leg. Because I promise you, he will blow that son of a bitch out. Logan Paul went into his match at Crown Jewel with Roman Reigns in phenomenal shape, and he still blew out his fucking knee. Torn meniscus, torn MCL, and a fucked up ACL. Thank goodness not torn. That would have added another 4 to 5 months of rehab and taken him out of any realm of WrestleMania plans. As of now, Triple H is still contemplating John Cena versus Logan Paul. Half the wrestling world is on board with that, the other half not so much. My point is, the dude's injured. I don't know if throwing him into War Games is the best situation for him. But we'll find out over the next 72 hours, right? Friday night into Monday. A little more than 72 if it's Monday night. But we're going to find out this weekend, or coming out of this weekend in Monday. On Monday Night Raw, we're going to find out if Kevin Owens is a part of this team or not, and who the suitable replacement is if not Owens. I don't know if you guys have a good idea on who would take his place. If Sami Zayn is on one team, Kevin Owens was going to be on another. Who takes his spot? that we're going to give a shit about. As far as the ladies go, there's still another spot, I believe, correct? You got to believe that's going to be Candice LeRae, who Damage Control took out several weeks ago, and we haven't seen Candice LeRae again. And again, this is what I say about, is this Triple H, Paul Levesque, just booking for himself? Is he just entertaining himself? Because a lot of people still are not on board with Candice LeRae. Your casual fans still don't really know who the fuck she is. A lot of people are just not on board. Is that going to be a huge surprise? Wow, Candice is back and she's in War Games. There's a lot of people. She has not been booked properly when she got to the roster. Triple H 50-50 booked her and then wrote her off of television. You can't blame people for, snuggling up in their blankets and reading each other bedtime stories over hot cocoa during Candice LeRae matches or Mia Yim matches. As much as we love those gals, they're not being booked properly, and that's a problem that H has been doing since he took over, which is no better than Vince McMahon's booking, which is just as weird and awkward as Tony Khan's booking. It just doesn't seem like anybody can book pro wrestling fucking manageable these days. It's odd. It's like you can't pick one promoter. You know how they do those awards, Booker of the Year, Promoter of the Year? Well, this is one of those years where I don't think anybody fucking wins. It's just bad, man. You question everything on these shows, and that's not a good thing. We shouldn't have to sit there and question everything, but when you insult our intelligence and you give us meaningless, and in most cases, stories and situations that don't even make sense, you have more questions than answers. Sometimes that's good. In pro wrestling, the last 5 to 10 years especially, it's not good. It's the opposite. It's bad. So we'll see what happens with Owens in the men's War Games match and Candice LeRae and the women's War Games match, because Survivor Series is 1 week away. And these matches are all still not made official. They're still interchanging fucking parts, wrestlers. I go back to what Pat McAfee asked Michael Cole last week. So you got Survivor Series next. What do you got planned for it? And here we are just under 2 weeks at that point. Michael Cole goes, we're still figuring it out, but we're going to have something special. We'll produce a good show. I mean, to tell Pat McAfee on his podcast, his highly successful podcast, that you're still planning out shit for Survivor Series, and you're less than 2 weeks away at that point. I mean, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know. Moving on with the injury report, right? BC's got a lot to fucking say. I got limited time, but I got a lot to say. That's why I'm trying to keep the topics kind of shorter. But the dialogue is not going to be shorter. Nah, not when you're tuning into BC. Injury report. Who else do you want to talk about? Randy Orton. It's not looking good in WWE for Randy Orton, man. A lot of people are concerned, and it looks like it's just escalated, that back injury. Yeah, it's not looking good. And then you get the latest photos that his wife posted up on social, and that got a lot of people concerned as well. So we wish Randy Orton nothing but the best, man. It doesn't look like he's coming back anytime before WrestleMania. And that's the least of his worries. He just wants to be up, walking, not feeling any pain, and be able to, do things with his kids in 10, 15 years. That's top priority, man. Living productive life, sun up to sun down. Pro wrestling is secondary, but as far as fans go, as far as the pro wrestling world, yeah, man, we absolutely hope to see him back soon, and I hope it's not with Matt Riddle. I hope it's to RKO Matt Riddle and set up some, hopefully we can get a serious Matt Riddle in that feud and not have fucking Scooter McGee, right? Traveling down on his scooter, banging on his bongos or banjos or bangos or whatever the fuck you want to call him. He's got his little 420 Randy shirts on. I mean, they made him such a goof. And the best Matt Riddle, best for business, is serious Matt Riddle. And I think Randy Orton will definitely pull that out of him. If he comes back and we just dance with RK Bro again, you're still going to have a non-existent tag division. And you're going to be tying up one of the best wrestlers, or should be anyway today, Randy Orton. You're going to be just tying him up in a tag team. Been there, done that for the whole part of last year. As much as you guys may have giggled and said, I like it, Beasley, it doesn't do a lot, man. The ratings show that. The metrics show that. It's time for Randy Orton to be that Viper again. That heel that is so diabolical that you're in awe over his actions. And as far as Riddle, it's time to see his very best. Serious Riddle doing serious shit. As a face, don't worry. So we wish Randy Orton the best. And over in AEW, they got kind of a similar situation, just not the back injury. And that's with Adam Cole, baby. A lot of people in AEW, just like WWE, a lot of people concerned with Randy Orton. A lot of people in AEW are concerned with Adam Cole's overall being, man. He just got taken out. Plethora of other injuries, some nagging, some larger, but it's the concussion we're hearing that is having lingering effects and really keeping him out of the ring. So for all of this time to go by, many months, and to now just be hearing the latest report, which we were hoping was, hey, Adam Cole is close to coming back. No, the report is people are more alarmed and concerned than before because it has taken this long, and it's just not, the progress is just not there or where it should be. So that is highly alarming. We hope that one day he can get back to the ring, but just like Orton, that's secondary. You know, your normal sun up to sun down life, that's what matters most. So we hope that he can live a productive life every single day. Don't worry about wrestling. Get your fucking ball bearings together. And once you feel like you can get back to full training, get back into the ring, entertain, your noggin is fucking okay for the most part of every day anyway, then we can start talking about a return. But this is something you should not rush. Dome piece injuries, man. Some people take it there. Some people can get 15 concussions and be totally fine a week later. Some people get 1 or 2, and that's it. They're done. Their dome piece does not respond properly. So we don't know all the details, but a lot of people in AEW concerned with Adam Cole, and a lot of people questioning his return. Not an injury report, but that'll do it with that. Jeff Hardy, kind of a legal report, a court date report. How's that? Cue the Law and Order SVU theme. Jeff Hardy, once again, his latest court appearance has been prolonged. It has been suspended like him, basically. Another court date has been postponed. Is that the word I want? Yeah, I'll use postponed. I said it's suspended like Jeff Hardy. It's been postponed yet again. I laugh because you can't help but laugh at this point, man. If you've been following this, guys, this date has been postponed like 4 or 5 times. No joke. They said this last time had to be it because it was postponed so long. And it's Jeff Hardy's legal advisors that postponed it again. Why would you want to prolong this? This is only going to make sure that he doesn't return to AEW anytime soon. And by the way, I think that's best. I think maybe his legal team is doing him a favor by prolonging this, postponing it. Because Jeff Hardy has no business back in a pro wrestling ring until we know that for years he's got his shit together. I mean, the amount of times that this guy has gotten behind the wheel while under the influence, and you guys know, man, I say this a billion fucking times. I have firsthand accounts from many individuals, personal stories, where that does not end up good. Where it ends up with either you're going to prison or you're going to take lives at that point because you're foolishly getting behind the wheel. And it's like this dude doesn't want to hear personal stories. He does from many people. It's like he doesn't want to hear this. He doesn't acknowledge it. And when you do that, right? Jeff Hardy is a good person in many aspects. A heart of gold, as his brother Matt would say, to give the shirt off your back. Such a genuinely good person until you're just not, right? And that's what this latest one, this latest arrest for the same thing, drinking while intoxicated, this opened everybody's eyes. That just because Just because you come across as a good person in so many aspects, there are aspects where you are being a selfish fucking idiot and driving under the influence. I'm telling you right now from personal stories, many I can tell you. You are being a selfish fucking idiot. You're being an asshole. You can be a genuinely good person, but when you continue to put other people's lives at risk, then you become a bad person. It's just the case. Nobody wants to hear that. I understand. We all love Jeff Hardy. He's given us so many memories. People make mistakes. This is beyond that. This is not a mistake anymore. This is a trend. And the only reason that it has halted yet again is because he got caught. If he did not get caught a few months ago, this keeps going until he either gets caught or he runs somebody over, somebody's in the car, and they smack a telephone pole and they lose their life. Or maybe he loses his. Or maybe he should just have to go away for a few years. Sometimes prison can help you. Because the recovery part of it doesn't seem to be working. The rehabbing isn't working. Sometimes, here's a crazy concept. When you're not a celebrity or you're not well known, do you know what happens to most normal people, average folk? We have to go away and pay the price for the damages, problems, mistakes, crimes that we have committed. I don't know how many times this guy can continue to literally continue to do the same fucking crime. I don't care if it's robbing the bank, you know what I mean? Or just fucking beating the shit out of the local granny in the supermarket. No. It's still when you're getting behind it's a crime still. And you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and he gets put right the fuck back out. And he gets to do it again and again and again. And they're like, it's a suspended license, though, so we're doing our part. No, he just gets right back into a fucking car. And he gets slapped with a ticket. And he makes a couple of court appearances. And he gets told he's got to go to rehab. And then he comes right back out. He gets back into a wrestling ring. He gets beat up again body-wise. He goes and takes more fucking pills. Drinks some more fucking bottles. Gets into a car. Gets stopped. Has to go to jail for the night. Then he goes to the court appearance. They slap a ticket on him. They tell him don't do it again. They tell him to go to rehab. He goes to rehab. He comes out early. He goes back to wrestling. He gets fucked up. And the vicious cycle continues until one day somebody, a judge, goes, well, shit, maybe you need 3 years to just go away. For you and for society. So they're going to prolong this. And this is leaving fans going, oh no, man, this is going to be a while then until we see him back in AEW. Is that really what you're thinking, bro? This dude is a habitual offender of getting behind the wheel intoxicated to the point where we've seen video of him swerving his car. There was one instance, one of his arrests, where he crashed his car into the median. That could have been your parents. That could have been your loved ones. That could have been your best friend just coming back from a dinner. Right into a barricade. And he gets back and he does it again. Like nothing. There's something wrong at that point. And you're worried about him getting back into an AEW ring when the guy's already beat the fuck up to the point where he needs to pop fucking pills just to get up in the morning. Anyway, his court appearance postponed yet again, and the saga continues. At this point, Tony Khan should just end the suspension and call in the termination papers. It should be a termination, a breach of contract, because this is a breach. If you look under any pro wrestling company's breach of contract policy, this absolutely falls into it. And Tony was just trying to be a good guy and just help him yet again, like everybody else has tried. Now, the more this prolongs, the more it remains a black cloud over AEW as if they don't have enough, now's the time to just come on in, termination papers. Again, this is what you call tough love. And this will only, I assure you, I've seen this myself with my own fucking eyes. This will only help Jeff Hardy in the long run. This is the time where when all this happens, that's the time you stand up and be a man, or you wilt away in the corner and you bitch out. I don't think Jeff Hardy's a bitch. So it's time to man up. Only when you lose everything do you gain everything. Speaking of changing one thing to another, if you're Tony Khan, like that's a little bit more drastic, suspended to termination. But interim to the women's champion. That's what Tony Khan needs to do now. You see several, it was just yesterday that we talked about it. So I think it was 2 days ago Tony had the interview. Toni Storm, interim women's champion. She went on a podcast or an interview. No, I don't know. I haven't got the source for you. You're just going to have to take my word for it. It's there. It's public record. But Toni Storm was doubling down, tripling down on how she feels about Thunder Rosa. And talking about how Rosa just needs to come to work. Enough is enough. It is time for Thunder Rosa to do what was originally planned. And that is drop the damn championship so everybody can move on. Instead, right before she was going to drop it, she claims that there was this back injury that's kind of been bothering her and she just can't compete. So Tony Khan has her keep the title as she walks out of AEW. She's going to remain the champion, and they're going to come up with a farce champion. An interim title holder, which just is a cute word for saying they're not the real one. Now, if this is a few weeks, okay, maybe we can talk. A month, maybe 2 months, maybe we can talk. The problem is this is a supposed out-of-nowhere back injury that doesn't really have a timetable. Back injuries, you can't really locate what the issue is. So there's no timetable. It's not like most injuries where you say, okay, this is 3 to 5 months. This is 6 to 9 months. Then you just got to crown a new champ. There's no timetable. It's already going on. I mean, once we hit into December, you're going on what? 4 months. By the time Thunder Rosa, we honestly don't even expect her to come back till 2023 as it is. How much longer do you play this game? I mean, it's clear. You saw it with CM Punk and the whole interim bullshit and what that did for the company. I mean, that interim title situation crippled them in so many ways. And then Tony Khan just doubles down, and he does it again with the ladies. Let's have another interim title situation. And you're getting the same result, slightly different. The Punk shit was very drastic, but this is drastic as well. The entire women's division is up in arms over what is happening. It's not just Britt Baker's clique because they don't like Rosa, by the way. Again, Toni Storm rides solo. If you know Toni Storm, she doesn't ride with anybody's shadow or in anybody's shadow. And Toni Storm is very vocal about how she feels about Thunder Rosa and how she just doesn't believe this back injury and she just wants her to come to work. There's nothing that can't be done, that she's not going to get re-injured or injured even more, and she can come to work and just drop the title like she was supposed to. And Tony Khan caused all of this. Tony Khan did not do this the right way. If somebody is telling you they're injured and it's something where they can't tell you a timetable, you strip the title off of them. Everybody knows that. If Tony Khan really likes this interim idea, that's fine. But there's situations where you just can't have that. When somebody tells you there's no timetable, when the doctors tell you there's no timetable, you take the title off of them. Back in the day, there was 30-day rules, 60-day rules some companies had, where if you do not defend your title in 30 days, that's it, you're stripped. I mean, is AEW going with the 4-month policy, the 5, 6? The whole year policy? As long as you defend it once in 13 months, you're okay. This is astronomical. And Toni Storm, in her recent comments, we went over this yesterday, last night's live stream. Toni Storm echoed her frustrations and went even deeper. She said yes, she feels she should be stripped or come to work and do the job you were supposed to do, which is basically hand the title over to her the right way. And she literally said the word, Toni Storm said verbatim. She wanted everybody to know that that's verbatim. You don't have to mix up my words. You don't have to protect my words so I don't sound, evil. Oh, she's got a back injury and I just want her to show up to work and do the job. No, verbatim, show up to work and do the job you were supposed to do before you just left. And after Toni Storm delivered those comments, it became a big story, and Tony Khan went public. Tony Khan was asked about the situation because it's taking on another life again, because it's been so long since Toni Storm first voiced her frustrations and nothing changed. So Tony Khan actually did answer it a little bit. And then Tony Khan doesn't answer a lot of questions, not right out anyway, not straight out. He dances around a lot of shit, or he just says no comment, and then he defers you to a big announcement that's going to be on Wednesday, and don't forget to watch Rampage. That's a Tony Khan interview. But he was asked about this situation, and maybe in hindsight, do you think you should have stripped Thunder Rosa? And he said, maybe. That's something that we have to start considering now. He said, I wanted to give Thunder Rosa the benefit of the doubt, and I wanted her to know that we're in her corner, but maybe that's something we have to start thinking about. So at least Tony Khan understands that this needs to be done. And then this morning, we're getting word that on Busted Open, that's what Thunder Rosa is doing these days, She gets to keep the AEW Women's Champion and then show up on a podcast and give her side of the story on everything, act like the fucking podcaster in the community, and also play victim at the same time. I mean, she easily can do that. And that's just this morning. She said, I want to extend an olive branch to anybody that has a problem with me. I think she means in AEW or just as a whole. I don't know how many people have a problem with Rosa for her to say that, but that's alarming to tell you how many bridges she has burned, bro. I mean, that's insane. When she said that story, that her own friends questioned the legitimacy of her back injury. Her own friends questioned her. That wasn't good, man. If BC tells my boys that I'm fucked up, man, they're not going to question that. They're going to do, well, what is it? What can we do? If you need anything, you want me to travel somewhere, you need some extra coffee. That's alarming that her friends heard that it might be a fake injury because the ladies are pissed off that she didn't just show up and do the job. So the friends questioned her. And then for her to go out and say, I want to extend an olive branches to everybody that has a problem with, that's not good. That is not good at all, bro. And, it's easy to do that behind the microphone. Anyone who has a problem with why you're holding the AEW championship, now it's time for Rosa to be just as much into this as Tony Khan should have been. Rosa, if she truly wants to extend an olive branch, you do what's right for the division. It's no more, but Tony wants me to keep it. There's nothing I can do. I'm just the victim. Not anymore. Rosa needs to call an emergency meeting with Khan if Khan's not going to call that meeting. And Rosa needs to say, for me, personally, for all of your ladies, and for you and your company, Tony, you have to take the title. This is becoming a situation that's actually hurting me, hurting you, and your roster. Because we all know that's the truth. It is beyond hurt the roster, her and him. And Toni Storm is frustrated that she's doing all of this work and just being looked at as a farce champion. All of this is just so she can get Thunder Rosa one-on-one when she finally comes back, just to get the title anyway, which was the original plan. So right before she was about to drop the title, she just takes off with it. Tony Khan botched. And if Rosa truly means her words, Rosa needs to call an emergency meeting. Rosa needs to tell Tony Khan, enough. Either you take it or I'm leaving it right here. BC, man, who in their right mind is just going to leave a title on the table, man? Anybody who has a moral compass, anybody who truly stands behind their beliefs and their words, like Sasha Banks, Naomi, who held titles right on a fucking desk of John Laurinaitis, turned their backs and said, check you. And they got villainized for it. Villainized by Kennedy McMahon and his soldiers. But they believed in themselves, what they were told, and they knew they were lied to. And they knew that this was the only way to make things right with themselves. And Sasha and Naomi did that. This is Rosa's time to say, I appreciate you believing me. I appreciate you giving me the benefit of the doubt, Tony. I need you to take this, man. I don't know when I'm coming back. I shouldn't have had this to begin with. I'll come back, and if you truly believe in me, I'll work my way back up, and hopefully I'll get that shot again, maybe even the title. And it'll be bigger and better than ever, right? If Rosa truly believes these words, and you want to extend that olive branch, you can only do that if you make things right. Just saying it's Tony's decision, which, at the end of the day, trust me, we know that's the be-all, end-all. But we have to ask, are you, Thunder, doing everything imaginable to make sure that those ladies are not frustrated? Are you doing everything imaginable to make sure that that title is truly where it belongs after what will be 4 months on Busted Open? And I'm pretty sure the title is not being defended on Busted Open with bitch-ass Ray. But I find it funny how Rose is coming out with those statements now after Khan makes those statements. And Khan only made those statements because Tony Storm had to fucking start these can of worms all again. It's the fucking talent that has to bring these issues up when it should be Tony Khan himself. But he's too busy doing interviews where he's not telling any answers to any questions asked. Just promotes his fucking show 87,000 times a day, and the ratings this past Wednesday showed you it doesn't do jack shit when Dynamite pulled in 818,000 viewers. They lost 112,000 from last week. What was it this week, guys? NBA game, not even playoffs. NBA, BC. There's always an excuse. Every Monday night for 5 fucking months plus, it's national football. It's Monday Night Football, basically. On Wednesday nights, it's always going to be basketball or hockey, basically. And when it's not a sporting event, or when it's not then it's the playoffs, I should say. And then when it's not that, then it's fucking presidential speeches or holidays, basically. It's always an excuse instead of just promoting the best possible putting out the best possible television product for a pro wrestling show imaginable. Instead of doing that, we're just going to sit back, take the low ratings as they get lower and lower and lower, and we're just going to blame it on everything else. It's not wrestling's fault. It's not the promoters. Tony Khan doesn't understand. You can go on 87 interviews a day and promote your show 187 times a day. Unless you're putting on the best of shows, nobody will give a fuck about your little TV show. And if you have champions that are not actually showing up, they're going to care even less. When you explain that to a casual fan. Well, she's the champ, but she's not really the champ. You see, the real champ has been out for 5 months, 4 months, whatever it's going to be. 8 fucking months by then. She's been out for 14 months. But she does podcasts, she's busted open, and she has a lot of fun, and she talks about it. She's just holding the title, the real one. This one who's been doing all the work, that's a fake champ. She's fake. It's a farce title, just to show that, there is a title on the show. Good luck fucking explaining that, I mean that. Also, guys, I want to talk Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman, if I can. I should like to cue that up real quick, too. Because you got to listen to Baron Corbin's, this stems back from Strowman. Strowman was taking some shots at the Flippidy Divers, the wrestlers that are about 5'7", $160 soaking wet. They practice for years in their backyard while mama's cooking dinner and they're doing the backflips on the trampoline. And now they're pro wrestlers, man. So Strowman likes to, push buttons and fuck with them. And he did it again, and everybody erupted yet again, man. And fans, wrestlers, man, don't shit where you eat. We're all just trying to make a living. We all have different styles. And Strowman's like, oh, relax. Why is everyone bitching out? Strowman's just fucking pushing buttons. But Baron Corbin, who's no stranger to collecting heat in the wrestling world for saying stupid shit, he's actually going against Braun Strowman on this. He's actually siding with the Flippity Dippities. He's siding with those fans. He says, and I quote, this is from Baron Corbin about Braun Strowman's comments. I think do you, whatever it is, but stand behind it. He says, if you cower and back down after, then you didn't really mean it. You were just doing it for clout. If you're saying it, and you're the one that's saying that, but then you back down, you're just full of crap. That's a quote. He says you're just full of crap. And what he means, guys, is that Strowman was saying all this, and then when he took a lot of heat, Strowman then said, oh, relax. I'm just messing around. When you guys mess around with me, it's okay. But when I mess around, I don't know why I want to do that in the Braun Strowman voice. But when I mess around with you, everybody gets all heated. And then he called them some fucking words. But he should have never even apologized, you know? Just like stay in character. So Corbin's like, yeah, if you do it, just keep doing it, man. But don't cower back. Otherwise, he called fucking Strowman full of crap. He says, he goes on to say, so to go out and do that, I don't understand it. I think you should take pride in being a big man and putting on a show like that. But the minute you have to go out and tell people how good you are and make up your own star rating, I'm out. He says, I'm out. Like, I'm turning my back on you. Baron Corbin said, I'm turning my back on you when you say stupid shit to Braun. That's your coworker, bro. Braun Strowman got to talk to this dude. And if you don't know what he's talking about, Braun Strowman, he doubled down when everybody got heated. And he's like, he went to a trampoline or one of those indoor, like, bouncy fucking places. And he did a backflip. And then he gets up and he says, what was that, 10 stars? So he's picking on, like, the Meltzer star-rated system that all the Flippidy Divers get. 5, 6, 7 stars. So he's like, 10 stars. And then people got heated even more. Like, stop saying that. I'm like, I was laughing at the whole thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Guy's a monster picking on a style of wrestling. Don't like it? Pick on his style. But the way that people got so fucking fresh, relax. Corbin says, I think you should take pride in being a big man and putting on a show like that. But the minute you have to go out and tell people how good you are and make up your own star rating, I'm out. I mean, I think that's what pro wrestlers are supposed to do. Say you're the best, though, right? You always got to claim you're the best. But I will say this about Corbin. He did say one thing, if I can find it, that's actually true. I will say. Let me try to find it. He says, for Strowman, his job is to get fans on his side because he's a face. He's a good guy, if you will, right? So to go out and do that, I don't understand it. I do agree with him on that. Strowman is supposed to be a face these days. So to go out and just irate the whole wrestling world, I think that, and that's why I've always said Strowman is better as a heel anyway. He was just not booked correctly. Or there was 3 times where he was, and then Vince McMahon just pulled the rug out from underneath his feet. Vince McMahon would bring him up 2 inches and then take him back a mile. But I do feel, if booked properly, Strowman is a bona fide, realistic, natural heel. And you could just tell by the way that he has fun on social. He's a heel. So, you know, and I think he knows that too. So he does this stuff as a face, and that's what people are kind of, you know, that's where you blur the lines. And now his own coworkers like Baron Corbin is like, it just doesn't make sense. But to publicly make those statements and then say, I'm out, it shows you that Corbin and Strowman, there must not be a lot of love lost there. All right, so I think that's actually it, man. I just saw the time. I wanted to keep this about a half an hour. Guess what? It just went about 45 minutes. So this is probably a good time to call it quits on this video. But I'll be right back shooting the shit with you guys tomorrow for the SmackDown review and reaction. So sometime tomorrow, be on the lookout. Stay subbed and notified, and you guys will be the first to know when that video kicks out. All right, BC's going to get some more coffee, man. I'm going to be double fisting a latte with maybe a frap, and we're going to rock out the rest of this night. Hopefully SmackDown provides, man. Hopefully SmackDown delivers tonight. We are 1 week away from Survivor Series. We need to start feeling that, man. This card is not nowhere near finalized. We're coming up with matches just by throwing names at a wall. 6-pack challenges for Ronda's #1 contender. A tournament to decide Gunther's fucking matchup for his title. We're just throwing names in there with the men for the War Games match. Fucking Brawling Brutes are linking up with the Drew McIntyre and maybe Kevin Owens to take on Bloodline and who the fuck? Well, all the Bloodline, right? I don't know. We'll see who's official, who's actually in the match, maybe tonight. And then for the women, we're still waiting on a participant there or two. I don't know, man. Everything's up in the air, and we're only 7 days away from Survivor Series. For anybody that's not excited for Survivor Series just because it's called War Games, I hope you guys cut them some slack, because I don't blame them. I'm not even excited about this shit. Just another Paul Levesque botch to BC, but hopefully it gets better. We still have a whole week to do such. Top guy, I'm out. BC, saying check you.